to the Energy Information Administration, the United States is about to run out of diesel fuel. Our supply of diesel will be exhausted in less than a month. What will that mean exactly? Well, currently 7 states are at, quote, alert level 4. The entire Southeast is at code red. That means 72-hour notice is required for all fuel deliveries in anticipation of shortages. The diesel shortage is a symptom of a larger problem. Distillates, that would include jet fuel, diesel fuel, heating oil, are at their lowest recorded levels in more than a decade. So there are a lot of reasons for this. Biden's religious war against Russia is the main one. But the effect on the country, that's the question tonight. What will that mean if we run out of these distillates in the middle of winter? Mike Taylor is the owner of Combined Energy Services. He joins us tonight. Mike, thanks so much for coming on. So what will that look like exactly?
Well, Tucker, I'm hearing from our suppliers that it seems like we're walking a fine tightrope on home heating oil and diesel supply. I can really only speak to the Northeast. They're telling me that in reserves, we're at 60% of a 5-year average. All of our heating oil in the Northeast, most of it comes out of the Philadelphia market, Linden, New Jersey. Good news is a refinery in Paulsboro, New Jersey is coming back online. Produces, I understand, 105 million barrels a day. So that's going to help the Northeast. All of our oil comes out of that region, floats up through the New York Harbor, and that supplies New England. We've already seen curtailments and shortages up on the Hudson River terminals. That was early October. Our suppliers are really saying it's a fine tightrope that if we have a drastically cold winter, could be trouble.
Could be trouble in supposedly the richest, most developed nation in the world. We're afraid of winter. So what would that mean for prices for heating oil and kerosene, by the way, which a lot of poor people use in their trailers? What would that look like in February?
No question. Already, we've seen the last 2 years, home heating oil is up over $3.50 a gallon. Retail home heating oil in the Northeast is over $6 a gallon today. Kerosene, when we can get it, is at $7. As we've spoken in the past, mobile homes use kerosene. It's very hard to get right now, and it's going to be unaffordable. The climate change agenda in the Northeast, Tucker, is what's causing this. Of course, across the country, demonization of fossil fuels. But in New York State, New Jersey, we're on fast track to try to eliminate fossil fuels with no alternatives that anybody can afford.
So this means the price of
I think.
I'm sorry. This means the price of cordwood goes up too.
It's definitely going to go up. Cordwood, pellet stoves. But in 2030, New York State is outlawing all fossil fuel, meaning natural gas, propane gas, heating oil, all appliances in your home. New Jersey is outlawing all large boilers starting in 2025. What they're saying is any boiler 1 million BTUs or up, which are all your natural gas heating and oil heating systems in New Jersey, there's over 8,300 of them, have to convert to electricity. Tucker, New Jersey has already estimated it's going to cost over $2 million to convert each one of these buildings, and they've admitted with an operating cost 5 to 6 times using electricity over natural gas. The crash course we're on in the Northeast is just undescribable.
Well, that's the definition of insanity. Mike Taylor, I appreciate your coming on tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Tucker.
So among the many citizens who have never been in politics before, who have jumped in and are trying to exercise democracy as it's meant to be, maybe the most impressive of all running for the Congress this cycle is a man called Joe Kent. He's running from Washington State. You just heard that previous segment. He joins us tonight. Joe, thanks so much for coming on. So as the result of these theories, this ideology, this weird religion that well-educated white liberals seem to have fallen for in the last 15 years, we're about to run out of diesel fuel and heating oil? Why isn't anyone being held responsible for this?
Yeah, we're in a very dangerous position right now, Tucker. I mean, not only are the lives of everyday Americans being destroyed because of these energy policies, Joe Biden came into office and on day one, he killed off our own pipelines. He stopped issuing exploratory drilling permits. And now we've had the energy industry has been absolutely crushed. And the trickle-down effect of that is that people have inflation out of control. It's taking away 1 month of their wages. But at a broader scale, we also have this energy crisis that makes us extremely vulnerable. We've caught Biden dipping into the strategic petroleum reserves that's only supposed to be used in time of an actual emergency. At the same time, Biden is pushing us towards an actual emergency, pushing us into this war with Ukraine. By his own description, we're closer now to a nuclear conflict than we've been since the Cuban Missile Crisis. So not only is Biden destroying the lives of everyday Americans, he's also pushing us towards an absolute disaster on every level, to include potentially a nuclear war. That's why this election is so absolutely critical.
Well, it is, and I should remind our viewers you spent more than 20 years in uniform. You understand this topic. So you're running against someone called Marie Gluesenkamp Perez, truly a mediocre candidate, asked during a recent debate about males competing in female sports. I just want to play her response for our audience. Watch this.
Do you support biological males competing in biological female sports? I think that is it depends. When do they transition? What are their hormone levels? I mean, when you really look at athletes have all different natural hormone levels. So it is a nuanced question.
I mean, your grin in that clip. Why were you grinning?
I mean, you can't make this up, Tucker. It's almost like she's playing a character, but these people actually believe this, or even more dangerously, I don't know if she truly believes that, but she knows that she has to genuflect to this ideology. I think it really speaks to show how just radical the Democrat Party is right now. So the message for those who are like, hey, I'm not a Republican, maybe they're an independent, maybe they're a Democrat, there is no moderation anymore with the Democrat Party. They don't even stand for protecting our children. They are okay with biological males going into women's locker rooms, women's bathrooms, and competing against them in sports, to include contact sports. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, I don't think there's any Democrat who would have tolerated that type of talk, even in their own party. But here we are. This is the mainstream of the Democrat Party. The Democrats here in Washington State are doing everything they can to bill my opponent, the woman that you just saw, as a moderate.
I mean, look, I'm not calling her an evil person or whatever, but she's such an obvious NPR listener. Does she have a tote bag from the last pledge drive and more than 6 cats? Do you know?
I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think she's definitely done her fair share of pledging, and she gives her full allegiance to NPR. It was actually at an OPB debate. Ironically, she said that 6 police officers were killed there on January 6th, and the NPR OPB moderator stepped in and actually fact-checked her that no police officers were killed on January 6th. So she's even more extreme than your average NPR listener.
Wow, that's saying a lot. We are just fervently rooting for you. Joe Kent, thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Tucker.